Hello everybody, this is Fronto Bobman here and welcome to race number 15 of the 2020-21 NROL Skittles Cup Series season. This is the Daytona 500 at the Daytona International Speedway. After quite a bit of preseason stuff, you know, racing here and there, and of course over the last 2 weeks this event has been quite the build-up. It is time for the race itself. It's time to figure out the thrills and spills, the winner, and all the things that come with the Daytona 500, the biggest event that we have. So yeah, I guess we'll just give you the starting grid now. So, starting on the pole for this one is Eric Jones, alongside second is Purser, third is Eric Gallerola, fourth is Brian Priest, fifth is Oliver, sixth is Ruby Alexipos, seventh is Cole Custer, eighth is Alex Pullman, ninth is Bank Coaches, 10th is Derber, 11th is Brian Blaney, 12th is Chris Busher, 13th is Ricky Styles Jr., 14th is Ross Hussein, 15th is Chase Elliott, 16th is Tim Tom, 17th is Duck, 18th is Kyle Larson, 19th is Joe Logano, 20th is William Byron, 21st is Brad Gazowski, 22nd is Russell David, 23rd is Mia, 24th is Blake Buckner, 25th is Ryan Newman, 26th is Floyd Bobbin, 27th is Denny Hamlin, 28th is Austin Strick, 29th is Mitchell Eddy, 30th is Austin Dunn, 31st is Kyle Busch, 32nd is Martin Truex Jr., 33rd is Tyler Reddick, 34th is Chad Fincham, 35th is Donald, 36th is Noah Gregson, 37th is Jimmy Johnson, 30th is Cliff Boyer, 39th is Kurt Busch, 40th is Kevin Harvick, 41st is Christian Bell, and 42nd is Dangerous Hicks. Quite the starting grid for this race event. So, only enough some guys that we thought were going to be in this race, they're not going to be, you know. There's a bit of hype around Rebecca and kind of a couple other guys. Yeah, they're not going to be in this race for this year. Anyway, as the field rolls off pit road, a bit slow. But, here they come. So, Eric Jones, your pole sitter, is going to lead the field off. This is the race. Ah, there's my phone. just decided to throw my phone to the side and landed in a bit of a weird spot. Oh well. Anyway, so let's talk about the race for a bit. So first thing I'm going to be announcing right now is that this race is worth double points. That is right. This is going to be a double point race. Rather than the standard 50 points you get for winning a race or the so on and so forth, you win 100 points if you win this race. We decided that we would do double points this year with how much build up this race has gotten, how much hype, how much everything. Just this event, it's quite big this year. And since, of course, it's in the middle of the season rather than the season opener, we figured we would make this event just that much more special. Because, this is the Daytona 500. It's not just any race. This is the race. It's the race that everyone wants to win. And we're going to find out who is going to win today as the pace car pulls off onto pit road. And green flag is in the air for the 2021 Daytona 500. Bit of a sluggish start once again, but that's okay. And of course, I do apologize if there's any frame rate drops. That's just the side effect of having 42 cars on track. Eric Jones and Ryan Priest are already doing their best to make a start in this race. Who'll be Alexipos as well. It's got quite a few guys on the bottom lane. They go down onto the bottom lane now. And Eric Jones, your pole sitter, is going to lead the opening lap at Daytona. Ryan Priest, however, sticking behind him. And who'll be supposed to bring? Oh, Ryan Priest going beneath Eric Jones. Ryan Priest to the lead in Daytona. And here is Hubi Alexipos leading the bottom lane still. It's amazing to me that Hubi Alexipos does this good and starts this well in his first ever Daytona 500. it wasn't even a plan originally for who we were supposed to run the Daytona 500, but then there were so many winners from the Siemens National Series racing in the Daytona 500 that Frank DeBob said, well, my guy won at Orlando, so how about we give him a Daytona 500 ride? Now, of course, this is the Daytona 500, a completely separate event from the Siemens National Series. Hubie Lexipos dives to the lead, and Hubie Lexipos leads in his first ever Daytona 500. How about that? A Tobaba Motorsports driver already making gains in his first race ever in the Cup Series. Hubie Lexipos almost won his duel, and who knows, he might win this race. I mean, I say might. It's a long shot. But just imagine the win of the biggest race of the season goes to a driver who usually races in the lower leagues, as in for the season. You know, Hubie Lexipos, he's a Siemens National Series driver. This is just a one-off race for him. And oh, he can't quite defend his lead. Alex Bowman going low on Hubie Lexipos. Chris Buescher is sticking with him as well. Yeah, Chris Buescher sticking with Alex Bowman for the time being. You know, it's interesting how this field just shuffles around. I got the bottom lane. Second up a bit is actually, well, Bowman and Buescher, they go from the high lane to the bottom lane. And Alex Bowman goes to the bottom lane, but unfortunately for Chris Buescher, can't get to the bottom lane in time. Smart thing to do would have been to just stay on the bottom lane for as long as you can. Anyway, Alex Bowman. You know, Bowman, we had this style of dual racing back at Willow Springs in the season opener, and Bowman actually failed to make the main event. Luckily this race, things have turned a lot better for Alex Bowman. Here he is leading the race. And if he gets a good finish, it will also help him out as far as the point standings. Because Bowman really hasn't had the best season, and this is his best chance to turn it around. Here comes Ricky Stenhouse Jr. in second. Stenhouse is quite cool to see him up here, driving the DG Jody race number 47. Although Tim Tom, he goes in the bottom lane, takes second away from him. Tim Tom was had an abysmal season so far, trying to save it here. And he shuts the door on Ricky Stenhouse Jr. And there he goes, Tim Tom to the bottom lane. And takes the lead now. Quite a few lead changes already in this race. Then again, we saw quite a few lead changes in the Cup race that we've had so far in Daytona. You know, the clash and the couple duels. We're seeing it again here in the Daytona 500. And who knows how much more we're going to see when we come back here in July. But that's a story for another day. That's a story that's coming up. But for today, Tim Tom leads, and Kyle Larson in a second as well. Kyle Larson moves down the track with Tim Tom. Here comes the real Xbox nerd. And Kyle Larson goes to the inside of Tim Tom. Larson now to the lead. We've also got the real Xbox nerd up here. And the real Xbox nerd, he actually qualified very high up. You know, back when we did the Kroger qualifying on the Daytona short track, Real Xbox nerd actually got, I think it was the third or fourth fastest lap time. Unfortunately, all of that went out the window when Real Xbox nerd didn't do that well in his duel. But now he's making up for it in the Daytona 500. And quite a few drivers from the inside lane trying to get up on here. Top three, though, goes to the bottom lane. And Kyle Larson. Reach Buster though going low. Kyle Larson might have to move down the lane as well. Yep. Kyle Larson moving down lane to block the real Xbox nerd. The real Xbox nerd still yet to win a race this season. How big would it be for him if he got his first race win of the season and the biggest race of them all? So the real Xbox nerd, yeah, doing everything he can, but Kyle Larson, he's led an entire lap there. First driver to lead 2 laps in a row in Kyle Larson. Not something that we've seen that much in the Cup Series. As Denny Hamlin goes to the inside of the real Xbox nerd. Denny Hamlin got a bit of a slingshot. Moved up to second. There's a couple more JGR guys up here as well. Eric Jones and Martin Truex Jr. moving up for the field. Oh, but real Xbox nerd going to slot in between, or slot in front of Eric Jones. And he slots in front of Eric Jones again. And Denny Hamlin going to the inside of Kyle Larson. So that's the end of Kyle Larson's lead for now. And Denny Hamlin, who has already won a race before in this season, now leading for the first time in this race. Now, if Denny Hamlin could shake the real Xbox nerd, then we could have a JGR line of cars. Well, I say that. Martin Truex Jr. just ditched his teammate of Eric Jones. Martin Truex Jr. now up to 3rd. That says though the GGR boys, and nope. Martin Truex Jr. still taking Eric Jones with him, so Eric Jones staying with this front pack. Real Xbox nerd, however, not giving in. He is staying in this JGR lineup of drivers. The only guy we're missing here is Kyle Busch, who's pretty far back in the field as of right now. Kevin Harvick's trying to get into the mix of these guys. Kevin Harvick started out pretty far back in the field, but now here he is already in the top 5. The field trying to get a bit crazy now. Denny Hamlin, however, holds his lead. Once again, Denny Hamlin keeping his lead for a decent amount of time. But of course, it's Daytona, so, yep, there we go. The field's going nuts. And the GGR guys have split up. As Martin Truex Jr. has had to do some moves. He is now trying to get to the back bumper of his teammate Denny Hamlin. Here comes Kevin Harvick. Gotta remind something for these guys. Martin Truex Jr. though, he's holding second for now. We'll see what the guys do up next. Denny Hamlin actually doing a pretty good job of keeping this lead. We saw similar stuff like this in the Siemens Dash Series race yesterday. The only thing that we don't have today is a really slow car yet. But as of right now, nobody to mess up this front field. As Duck going with the surge underneath Kevin Harvick to take 3rd away from him. And Denny Hamlin leading another lap at Daytona. Although he's going to lose his teammate, Martin Truex Jr.'s Duck, going beneath Truex. Doug's stuck in behind Denny Hamlin. It'd be interesting to see how much longer Denny Hamlin can keep this lead. Bit of stuttering. Yep, not much longer. There we go. Doug goes low, but Kevin Harvick goes even lower. They can go 3 wide for the lead. And Kevin Harvick is now going all the way to first. Kevin Harvick now your leader in the Daytona 500. Derper is well running up here. And there goes Duck. He's going to go back beneath Kevin Harvick to take the lead. Well, it's got Derper out of NROL Racing. What is Derper doing this far up the pack? Usually NROL Racing is rubbish, but today they're on fire. And now going 3 wide for second. That's Austin Dillon, the lowest car here. That's still 3 wide. Austin Dillon, though, trying to get a bit of an advantage. Austin Dillon trying to take number 3 back to victory lane. It'd be quite the story, as it has been 20 years since the passing of Dale Earnhardt. Could Austin Dillon potentially take number 3 back to victory lane? And the Daytona 500, of course. You got a few guys actually that don't usually run too far up the pack. You know, Austin Dillon. You've also got Derper, and here's Ross Chastain, who's going to get underneath Derper. And Chastain, one of the drivers that ran the Siemens Nash Series yesterday. So Chastain putting that experience to good use in this race. This is Chastain's second of 3 races for Spire Motorsports with Advent Health as the sponsor. And Chastain actually did pretty decent in his first race with Advent Health back at Willow Springs. And now for second one, Ross Chastain once again being quite impressive. Oh, but he's going to get forced high by Clint Bowyer. Clint Bowyer, another driver, started deep in this pack. Here he is up here, trying to contend with the leaders. Once again, some guys but we haven't seen up here now. Joey Logano, Bank Coaches. Although Bowman, he was up here a little bit earlier, so this isn't really too much of a shock. And Tyler Reddick trying to get up here as well. Here comes Clint Bowyer trying to overtake Duck for the lead. Oh, it makes a bit of strange maneuver from him. He almost let Joey Logano get underneath him. Not something you want to do at Daytona, or anywhere, but especially Daytona. So we got a few Fords. We've also got Bank Coaches trying to stay with these guys as well. And Alex Bowman now going to the side of Bank Coaches. Going 3 wide behind him. You know, in this Speed Week, we haven't really seen that many big crashes as Alex Bowman tries to make a move on Joey Logano. I mean, we did see a caution in the truck race last week, but that was a pretty minor accident. Other than that, though, we've had no cautions or any big crashes at all in the entirety of Speed Weeks. But of course, now this is the race. That once this race is over, that'll be the end of Speed Weeks for 2021. So the question is, will we see a big crash in this race, or will we go completely caution-free? Or will we have something in between where we'll have a smaller crash that brings up the caution? Alex Bowman actually doing pretty good at moving up for this pack. Meanwhile, Tyler Reddick, who won the Clash, trying to do a little bit better in this race. I mean, he won the Clash, but of course, could he win the Daytona 500? And the Xbox has come back up here, and Russell David as well. Tyler Reddick goes beneath Alex Bowman. And Russell David, Russell David did lead a lap in the duel. But looks like now he's trying to lead a lap in the Daytona 500. He's got a teammate in law as well of the Relix Box trying to help him out a bit. Actually, Bank Coach is slotting in behind these guys as well. So a few Bob Motorsports affiliated cars trying to make haste. Speaking of Bob Motorsports cars, though, we haven't seen who we Lexus post since the start of the race, and haven't seen Front to Bob at all. Well, maybe look like planning a bit of a strategy. To be fair, we're almost at the halfway point, so it's pretty early to be making any crazy moves. I just saw some dirt get kicked up. Or somebody went to the dirt. No caution. And Tyler Reddick now goes beneath of Duck, although really Spokesman for some reason stays in the high lane. That's going to give a couple positions. Now we got a wad of Chevys up here. Tyler Reddick for some reason going high. Really should be staying low. And he gets to the bottom lane just in time before Alex Bowman can get there. Austin Cindric also within shot. Bill Bell for second as Alex Bowman just doing Russell David. Bowman doing a pretty good job at staying up here. You know, Bowman, he really hasn't had that good of a season. So, trying to save his season in this race. As Alex Bowman now goes beneath Tyler Reddick to take the lead in this race. Meanwhile, Russell David might be looking to get around these guys. Even if Russell David can't win, he probably at least wants to lead a lap. I'm pretty sure he did lead a little bit early in this race. Yeah, you know, so much is going on in this race already. It's kind of hard to remember everything that's happened so far. And we're not even at the halfway point yet. Here comes Bank Coach is in the inside lane, trying to keep up. It's Russell David staying with Alex Bowman, trying to wait for the inevitable move to the lead. And Bank Coach staying with him. Here comes Austin Cindric, another driver in the Daytona 500 Special, and Russell David goes beneath Alex Bowman, and he will take the lead away. Russell David with the Obama Motorsports rookies made so many starts in the NROL by now, in the Skills Cup Series and the Seamers Nationals, and Russell David still yet to win a race. Oh, and he can't quite get down to Bank Coaches in time. Russell David trying to lead this lap, but no, looks like he's going to lose a bit of speed off of turn 4. He might lead them to the line. And he does, but only just. As he's going to lose the lead here to his teammate law of Bank Coaches. And actually a bit of barging in the bottom lane as well. Austin Cindric under fire from his Penske teammate, Joey Logano. Penske guys are going to have to get along a bit better than this. Allston in the Verizon 5G car. First time that Verizon has been seen in the NRL in quite a few years. They're back with Austin Cindric for this race. Austin Cindric, another driver who's won the team's national series, of course. He won a little while ago back at Circuit of the Americas. And Austin Cindric will eventually go full-time in the Cup Series. So for this race, Roger Penske thought it was a good idea to have a car for Daytona for Austin Cindric. And here he goes beneath bank coaches. Another thing worth mentioning about Austin Cindric is that Team Penske does actually have him planned to run a few more races. Pretty much in the same situation with Connor, where he's not running all the races, but he's running a few of the races. I'm not sure what those races are, though, yet, so for now, Austin Cindric is just part of the Daytona 500 Special. Actually, they do say he's planning to race more races. We'll just have to wait and see about that one, because the details aren't actually finalized on that one yet, so it could just be Austin Cindric in the Daytona 500. Plus, he's a Siemens Nationals driver, so he couldn't score any points in Cup anyway. Which kind of can. Meanwhile, Cole Custer made his way up to the pack. Cole Custer almost won the duel. And here he is up here for the first time today. And Jimmy Johnson, who started almost pretty deep in the field. Not dead last, but pretty deep in the field. Here he is up here. Running in front of what is likely to be his last ever Daytona 500. But Cole Custer is holding his ground. There's actually become a bit of separation in the packs. Not up front though, as far as I can see. We have to look at that a little bit later though. As Mark Shashir makes his way underneath Jimmy Johnson. And here comes a guy that we've been expecting to see up here. It is Fronito Bobman. It's been quite a bit of a while now, but Fronito Bobman is finally about to make a run for the lead. Fronito Bobman is actually your defending Daytona 500 champion, as Fronito Bobman did win last year's edition of this race. Could he also win this year's edition, as he shuts the door on Ryan Newman? Oh no, Ryan Newman tried to shut the door on him, but he didn't, you know what I mean. Anyway, Fronito Bobman up to third. And there he goes, already going beneath Mark Shashir and others. Fronito Bobman's actually had a decent amount of practice, you know, for this year's Speed Weeks. You know, he raced the Arrow race, then he raced the Clash, and of course, duels, and now today. He happens to be being beaten by a rookie right now, though. Cole Custer not giving up so easily. Boston staying back up here as well. But Cole Custer. Cole Custer doing a pretty good job in this race so far. But there goes Fronito Bobman to the inside of Cole Custer. And Fronito Bobman must have been hanging back for all this time. But here he is. And Fronito Bobman leads his first lap of the day. Chastain, though, he's doing a pretty good job of staying with Fronito Bobman. So Chevy drivers working together. There's still quite a ways to go in this race, so anything can happen. Fronito Bobman, of course, shutting the door on Ross Chastain, as you would probably expect from Fronito Bobman. And I hear possibly a lap car in the distance. Not as slow as can drive, so they're not really gonna screw up the field, but they're gonna do something. If they're lucky, they might actually just catch the field and just ride with them for the rest of this race. Here goes Tyler Reddick beneath Ross Chastain. Tyler Reddick looking for a second Cup Series win in a points race, which did win the Clash, but the Clash was just an exhibition race. Oh, he doesn't quite get taken with front of on that. Was Clint Boyer gonna take this position away? And Boyer doing a pretty good job at defending the field. Bowen actually had quite a few laps in the Daytona 500 last year. And Bowen, who didn't do that well in the duels, here he's up here in front. But how much longer can he keep the lead? It's going to be interesting to find out. He's doing good so far. And here is Jimmy Johnson back up here. Jimmy Johnson sticking with Bowen for now. And there he goes. Jimmy Johnson goes beneath Bowen. Looks like he'd been setting that up for a while. And Jimmy Johnson takes the lead in the Daytona 500. And trying to lead a lap for what could be the last time. And Jimmy Johnson leads a lap in the Daytona 500. But now some Solis guys have come up. There's Oliver and Tim Tom. Oliver's actually won a race, I think, this season. Back at Sonoma. And here he is today trying to challenge for a Daytona 500. Oliver goes beneath Jimmy Johnson right here. A bit of a side-by-side battle between Jimmy Johnson and Oliver. Oliver though gonna edge him out here. Here comes Eric Jones back up to the pack now. Eric Jones, your pole sitter, trying to make something out of this race. It was quite a while ago now that Eric Jones secured the pole for the Daytona 500. And now that the race is on, he's trying to make the best of it. He's already going to get some championship points from his pole. But he can earn a lot more by winning this race. 100 points on the line for the winner. Oliver, however, I don't think he's ever won a Daytona 500. And Oliver, who has been racing for a very long time, and there's been some rumblings that he might be out of a job next season, trying to do everything he can to stay relevant in the Cup Series. His season last year was really disappointing. This year so far, I say disappointing. That's actually a bit of a lie, because Oliver did actually make the playoffs last season. Only just, but he did make it. Ironically, here's Brad Keselowski, the guy who just barely missed the playoffs last season. So the race is likely on for these two. And meanwhile, Eric Jones, a bit of a sandwich amongst these guys. I don't remember the last time that the Daytona 500 pole sitter won the race. And here is Brad Keselowski, though. So a couple of Michigan natives battling it out for second now. Speaking of Eric Jones, he's another one that might get out of a job next year, or at least out of a job at Joe Gibbs Racing. Denny Hamlin, however, looking strong in this race. And here goes Brad Keselowski to the inside of Oliver. And Brad Keselowski will take the lead in this race now. And here comes Kevin Harvick back up to the field again. Here comes Christopher Bell. A little bit of a ways back, but he's coming up here. Christopher Bell started in the very last row in this race. And he is now trying to win a Daytona 500. But Kevin Harvick, who hasn't won a race in quite a while, he did make the playoffs last year, but was pretty quiet. Could Harvick, however, make some noise in the Daytona 500? Well, maybe not, as here comes Bang Coaches and others on the low line. Here's Celebrate back again. With Martin and others trying to keep up. Here comes Christopher Bell. We started at the tail end of the field. There's quite a few JGR guys here. So we've got Truex, along with Christopher Bell, Kyle Busch, and Hamlin, and Eric Jones. So you've got the entire JGR camp all running high up in the field. Eric Jones, though, he's stuck in the high line, so he might be a bit separated for a while. Not that the rest of the JGR camp looking pretty good. Tyler Reddick doing a pretty good job at keeping his lead. For now. And this is what Reddick had to do to win the class, so could we see history repeat itself just 1 week later? And Christopher Bell goes beneath Mark Truex Jr. Gonna ditch his JGR affiliate teammate. Now that makes rookies 1-2 of Christopher Bell and Tyler Reddick. And Christopher Bell goes low. Takes Cowboys with him, but Cowboys goes even lower. Making 3 wide for the lead. And Kyle Busch, the veteran, wasn't the best season either, now into the lead at the Daytona 500. How about that? Cowboys leading in Daytona. And I should mention, Cowboys has never won a Daytona 500. This will be a huge first for him, and a huge day in general if he could win this race. Meanwhile, Ross Chastain, for the 3rd time that I've noticed today, he is running up in the field. The Cowboys looking pretty good in this race now. I say good. He's looking good for now. We haven't got that much left in the race, but we are getting to that point where our drivers are going to start making some moves. Ross Chastain goes beneath Denny Hamlin. It's a little bit soon for that. If Ross Chastain wants to take Spire Motorsports their first victory, it'd be Chastain's first career Cup victory as well. And Clint Bowyer and Chastain, they go low. And Ross Chastain to the lead in the Daytona 500. Chastain has looked good in the 77 car, but now he leads. And Spire Motorsports leads their first lap in a Cup race. Spire Motorsports is a new team for this season, and they've just now led their first lap ever. Spire Motorsports, with how tight the competition in the Cup Series is, Spire Motorsports hasn't even made a start in every single race in the season. They have missed some races, but if Ross could win this one for the team, it'd be huge. Oh, but he's going to lose out here, though, as Donald is now up here. And Donald's Scottish twin didn't even make this race. So Donald, the only one in this race who could win it for Scotland. Here comes Chase Elliott, a driver we haven't seen up here that much today. Here he is. Oh, but Donald, though, blocks his Sova Motorsports sort of teammate of Tim Tom. Man, a win for Tim Tom would be huge. Ryan Preece up here as well. We're getting to that point in the race. It's still anyone's game, but someone up this pack is going to win this race. Top four is right now a single file. Top four right now is single file indeed. Tim Tom doing a pretty good job of holding second. But Donald ultimately holds the lead as of right now. Not for now. Not for long, though, as Tim Tom goes to the bottom lane. We got 10 laps to go. Ryan Preece running up here as well. And I sense the laps car might be coming up. And Tim Tom now leading Daytona with Ryan Preece up here. Like both JTG guys up here. Here comes Stenhouse. You know, the JTG guys have looked really good so far this speed weeks. At least in the actual races anyway. And now, here you have Ryan Preece and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. both running in the top 5. Looking for a win. Ryan Preece actually led quite a few laps in the previous points race at Homestead. So Preece, looking for redemption, trying to win the biggest race of them all. Stenhouse goes beneath Chase Elliott. That's for third. And now the JTG Doherty Racing drivers are together. They might have a plan to take 1-2 in this race. Oh no, Stenhouse is gonna... Well, he's quickly going to get around Ryan Preece for the time being. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. This wouldn't be the first time they won Daytona. He also won at Daytona for Roush Fenway Racing back in 2017. But that was the Coca-Cola Coke 0400. This is the Daytona 500. A win for Stenhouse. This one would be absolutely huge. But here comes Joey Logano to interfere, though. Logano trying to win a second Daytona 500. Also, Eric Almirola on too far ahead. He's a single duck. This field's going to catch up to him. He's not going to mess up the field that much, as Eric Almirola probably is as fast as these guys. As Joey Logano goes beneath Tim Tom. And Eric Almirola, he's not going to slow up the field massively, but he's definitely going to cause a bit of a jam. And Eric Almirola, he's definitely a little bit of a jam. Not a big one, though. Like, nowhere near the level of can't drive. And Joey Logano getting around Eric Almirola. Eric Almirola lap down car, so he's not going to change any positions. But at the same time, he's not really going to ruin this race either. So, Joey Logano currently being followed by Kyle Busch. These two have quite a bit of history with each other. And it's not good history. And now they are 1-2 in the Daytona 500. Kyle Busch looking for his first Daytona 500 ever, whereas Joey Logano is looking for his second. And Kyle Busch goes beneath Joey Logano. That's going to be for the lead. And Kyle Busch takes the lead in the Daytona 500. The race is really heating up for the lead now. Alex Bowman, Clint Boyer, everyone going absolutely nuts. Alex Bowman and Clint Boyer trying to make it 3-1 with Joey Logano. This for second. And Alex Bowman and Clint Boyer all go 3-1 with Freund Open. Joey Logano. Speaking of Freund Open, here he comes. Russell David as well running up here. Looking for a really good finish in Daytona 500. But here is Freund Open. Looking to go back-to-back in Daytona 500s. 5 laps to go. This is the race for the win. Kyle Busch leads them, but Clint Boyer, I'm missing up my names now. As Clint Boyer stays behind Kyle Busch, Clint Boyer also looking for a win. The Daytona 500 and still looking for his first win with Stewart. Actually, that's a lie. He won that Petco. I'm sorry, but Boyer looking for his first Daytona 500. Here comes Russell David in the low line, trying to be fast here, and throwing the ball, but goes beneath Clint Boyer. But Russell David though trying to stick with his pack. We got 4 laps to go. Anything is possible. And Fronito Bobbin in second, looking to go back to back. 4 laps to go. Everyone has got to be on the edge of their seats now. As Fronito Bobbin stays behind Kyle Busch, and he goes beneath Kyle Busch. Oh, but Russell David though didn't get to the bottom lane fast enough. He still has a shot, but he's got to make haste. Russell David staying on the high line. And Fronito Bobbin leads. Actually, high line might not be such a bad thing for Russell David. Unless, well, depends on how quickly it gets down. Fronito Bobbin now still side by side actually with Kyle Busch. And Russell David, oh, he can't quite get to the bottom lane in time. But Fronito Bobbin now leading in Daytona. This is still going to be a wild card of a finish. 3 laps to go. Kyle Busch is just gonna squeak. No, actually, yeah, Fronito Bobbin just squeaked out Kyle Busch there with 3 to go. And now the RCR boys are up here of Tyler Reddick and Austin Dillon. Meanwhile, Austin Cindric as well up here. But Fronito Bobbin trying to hold them off for 2.5 more laps, but the field on the inside line is heating up now. Tyler Reddick on the inside line. Fronito Bobbin's got to get down here fast enough, and it's a bit late. Oh, dearie me. Tyler Reddick gonna overtake them. And now this is for the lead. And now the RCR teammates. Looks like they're gonna have their own little battle for the win. 2 laps to go. This is still anyone's race. Tyler Reddick trying to win the Daytona 500, but Austin Dillon behind him as well. Austin Dillon, who is trying to take number 3 back to victory lane in the Daytona 500. Meanwhile, here's a couple of rookies, Austin Cindric and Cole Custer. Austin Cindric not even scoring any points in this race. Look at him, up to 3rd. Man, I have absolutely no idea who's going to win this. Austin Cindric goes beneath Austin Dillon. And Austin Cindric is just behind Tyler Reddick. Are we really about to see a win from a rookie, a Daytona 500 special driver? White flag, 1 lap to go in the Daytona 500. This is it. This is for the win. Austin Cindric. Oh, Austin Dillon. Now we're going to Austin Cindric's inside. That could be the cancel move. Yep. Ooh, Austin Cindric now stuck on the high line. As Austin Dillon, it is RCR 1-2 in the Daytona 500. This team has such a history in the Daytona 500, and now they're trying to add to this history in 2021. Austin Dillon, this is his final shot to get the lead on Tyler Reddick, but looks like Reddick might just hold them off. And Tyler Reddick is going to lead the field over turn number 4. Tyler Reddick, who won the class just a week ago. Tyler Reddick is going to add to the history of Richard Childress Racing. Tyler Reddick wins the 2021 Daytona 500. How about that? What a historic day in the Daytona 500 for the Childress drivers. 1-2 for Tyler Reddick and Austin Dillon. But Tyler Reddick, the rookie, gets his second Cup Series win, and it's the Daytona 500. How about that? For the first time since 1998, I think. No, not since 1998. For the first time in quite a while, Richard Childress Racing is back in victory in the Daytona 500. It would have been the first time since 1998 if Ozil could win, but no, it hasn't been since 1998. But it's been quite a while, all things considered. And Tyler Reddick is adding, or has added, to the legacy of Richard Childress Racing in the Daytona 500. How about that? That was That's something pretty special. That's going to be something that people are going to remember for a very long time. Tyler Reddick, an up-and-coming rookie who hasn't even completed a full season yet in the Cup Series, is a winner in the Daytona 500. And not only that, but it is a Richard Childress Racing 1-2. That is something that hasn't been seen in a very long time. I don't think ever. I'm not really quite sure about my history, but it's something quite special for these guys. So Tyler Reddick with the win in the 2021 Daytona 500 with Austin Dillon coming home in second. That Richard Childress, he has to have a huge smile on his face as both of his drivers have finished 1-2. Considering the rest of the field, you got Cole Custer in third, Mark Schumacher fourth, Austin Cindric in fifth. A very good day for him in his first Daytona 500. Alex Bowman coming in sixth, point involvement seventh, Russell David eighth, a top 10 for Russell David. Very nice to see from him. Kyle Busch coming home at 9th, Doug 10th, Brad Keselowski 11th, DeRelix Buxton 12th, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 13th, Aaron Jones 14th, Clint Boyer 15th, Tim Tom 16th, Joe Logano 17th, Jimmy Johnson 18th, Donald 19th, Carl Larson 20th, Kurt Busch 21st, Chase Elliott 22nd, Nia 23rd, Purdy 24th, Ryan Preece 25th, Chris Buescher 26th, Ron Chastain 27th, Denny Hamlin 28th, Ryan Newman 29th, Kevin Harvick 30th, Cliff Stabell 31st, Oliver 32nd, William Brown 33rd, Miss Lay 34th, Hubie Lex Post 35th, Ben Cooks 36th, Durper 37th, Chad Fincham 38th, James Schick 39th, Noah Gragson 4th, Brian Blaney 41st, and Eric Gamarola 42nd. Won a lap down, and Brian Blaney almost won a lap down as well. So while there were no cautions in the Daytona 500, there was a very close chance that there could have been one, as we're going to see here with Ryan Blaney. This was on lap number 23. So Blaney just doing his thing near the back of the field, and then here he comes, tries to go into Eric Gamarola, and they both get into not a spin, but a very close shave. That could have been much worse. So let's analyze this a bit closer. So you have Ryan Blaney, who tried to dive underneath Eric Gamarola, went onto the white double yellow line, and then disaster almost struck. This could have been very close to be a caution, but wasn't quite a caution. So let's look at some helicopter camera. So you've got Ryan Blaney going beneath Eric Gamarola, and Blaney just slips up, almost takes Eric Gamarola with him. Gamarola saves it, and so does Ryan Blaney. A little bit more beating, banging between the two, though, but ultimately nobody spun around. So really good thing that no one spun. Bruce having to go a little bit low as well. But that was a very close shave, you might say. Could have been much worse, but luckily the drivers were able to save it. So in the end, there was ultimately no caution. However, that is it from Daytona. That was the Daytona 500, and that was Daytona Speed Weeks for 2021. We are now done at Daytona for the time being. We will be back later on in the season, but that is the conclusion of Speed Weeks, and that is actually going to be the conclusion of the Florida stretch. Next week, we're going to be in an entirely different location, which will start another stretch, and I'm sure everyone is going to be looking forward to that one. But that is all for today. That is all for Speed Weeks. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in whatever I make next.